I feel safe at home and at peace with trees in my immediate vicinity. I know after having experienced all these wizened and learned people's perspectives on trees, going to college or forestry, that trees are much more complex than I thought initially. I knew trees were an important aspect of life, but I had no clue that the finite amount of trees that are on Earth cannot sustain the needs of humans as they are right now. There are a lot, and if we didn't have the ones that we have, we would not be here. But the trees that we have potential to have on the land, the ones that we need to plant, the ones that we need to grow, the ones that we need to start seeding, and then doing massive reforestation efforts, those trees are the ones that are going to perpetuate our habitat, the habitat that we need. And trees are really cool because they're not just going to serve our needs, they're going to serve the needs of all living things on the planet. Now, there are contexts where trees have been planted and the trees really did a doozy for the environment and for certain cultures, like really devastating people's way of life and the amount of food that each person had that day or week or month or year. There's a lot that goes into trees, and it's really beyond the initial observation of it just being like in the way or not beautiful, or maybe it's dangerous or something like that. Like, there's so many ways we can manage trees. There's so many dangers to them for sure that we can mitigate, and we got to live amongst the trees more densely and with a heavier management regime than before, because management throughout history of forests has saved the forests from experiencing deforestation and change of land use, especially to agriculture or urban environments like cities and towns and villages. Our rural environments have massive inputs because of the scale of the amount of land that each contributes to environmental pollution and environmental degradation. The amount of trees that are on agriculture fields are much lower than they used to be. The agriculture fields would be cleared, and oftentimes would be cleared all the way to the streams that are on the land. Now, it's really important that these streams have vegetation on them, called buffer strips, or they're also called streamside management zones. They're called like mitigation or agroforestry strips. It really just depends on who you're talking to and what the context of why you're trying to plant the trees there is. So the people that are working on our agriculture lands have a really big responsibility to reduce the amount of pollution and inputs of phosphorus and nitrogen into our streams and waterways because of the great deal of damage that is occurring in many bays from large watersheds. So like we are in the Mississippi River watershed here in Illinois, and all of around a third of America, the United States, is Mississippi River watershed. So imagine all of the farmlands that are along every stream and creek that is in the Midwest and parts of the Great Plains in the West. There's, from the Rocky Mountains all the way to the Appalachian Mountains and the Smoky Mountains, there's Mississippi River watershed. I mean, there's really no way to tell how much power that we have to change the environmental situation that we're in right now. But we gotta practice and we gotta try. There's gotta be effort toward sustaining our lives here on the planet by essentially following very specific practices that we all can do together in a very big community fashion. One of those being afforestation and reforestation. We have so many trees that people in urban environments can take and grow in our own houses and then supply for the reforestation of our cities, of our towns, of our villages. The restrictions on planting trees are many in urban environments. There's a whole lot of reasons not to plant a tree, and so the specific places that trees can grow, they really need to, because it's not going to be everybody choosing like, yes, we all want trees. It's going to be people that don't want trees, and people who deny that trees are something that can save lives. We have to trust that the practices that we have right now to mitigate environmental degradation be speedy and quick. And so being in group fashions in urban environments really gains a lot of opportunity for us to reforest a great deal of trees and keep them established for long periods of time.